All right, so I want to do a little Q&A here with you today on landing pages, because the thing is, if you don't get your landing page put together correctly, it's going to be harder for you to enroll people in your courses, enroll people into your beta test, or even get them into an opt-in. So I've made a list here of the commonly asked questions and some mistakes too, so that I can really help you craft a really good landing page. So take note here. You might want to grab a piece of paper and follow along. So the first thing I want to cover really is what are the key elements of a landing page? And I'm going to just think about it from top to bottom, right? So you need a headline, a compelling headline, persuasive copy, clear and concise call to action, and relevant images or visuals that will support whatever it is that you're trying to enroll people in. And of course, throughout, you need trust building things such as testimonials, could be that you've been seen somewhere, things like that. So you really want to do that. You want to have a form, but let's really kind of dive in a little bit more into what goes into the copy. So this is really where people get tripped up. They try to add too much in there or get gimmicky or jargony with their copy. And one of the biggest things that I see people do is they try to fiddle around, make things sound cool. And what they're really doing is that they're confusing people that are coming to your landing page. So you want to be clear and concise, and you want to make everything benefit driven. None of this is about you, what you're teaching, any of this. This is really about your audience, right? So what you want to do is make everything benefit, promise oriented. What is the big outcome? What are they going to gain by buying your product, your course, coaching with you, or signing up for a beta test, or getting your freebie? That's what should be in your headline. Your bullet points aren't what you put in there. You want benefits. You can say what part is, but then you need to include what the benefit is. What is the outcome? What are you helping them with? You really need one big idea, and it should be going all the way through. And that's what's so cool about when I teach my courses. I teach people AI copywriting, and I don't just teach like you plug in a template. I teach you how to think like a copywriter so that you can craft a better landing page that resonates with your audience. So all those things in the course that I'm teaching you, or if you're just watching this somewhere, you're going to want to check out my AI Content Creators Guide or enroll in one of my courses. So let's dive in now to how do I write a compelling headline for my landing page. I've already kind of discussed that. It needs to be like one big idea, the promise, the outcome, something that pulls them in. Words that you want to avoid at any cost when writing your headline or anywhere else on your landing page are learn. You want to highlight in your headline the main benefit of your or proposition of your offer. It's got to grab their attention and make them want to go down and learn more. So you want to include action-oriented language and address the visitor's pain point right up in front, okay? So the thing is, that's where AI copywriting, if you're not confident about this, can really, really help you figure that out. And there's some keys to learning that and how you prime ChatGPT to help you do that. So if you're in one of my courses, you will learn how if you're in the course and you're watching this or you're watching somewhere else, if you're in my course, you will learn you're learning how to use AI and learn it to write your copy like a copywriter would. All right. So let's go into the next question. What makes persuasive copy on your landing page? It's got to focus, as I've mentioned before, It needs to focus on their needs and how your product and service can solve their problem. It's not about what it is, it's about what you're solving and the benefit to your visitors. So the thing is that they're going to come to your page already with a bunch of objections. So your benefits need to overcome those objections that they have when they come there. So that is how you convert them from a cold visitor, sort of warm, into a opt-in to a prospect or a customer. Okay, so let's dive into the next thing that people want to know about, and it is, how do you create an effective call to action on your landing page? Because there is some things like this. It needs to be prominent. It needs to have action-oriented words like get started, it's easy, try it, things like that. Do not use the word submit or learn. You want to pick words that make it sound easy and doable. And you want to use a high contrast color for your opt-in, okay? For your button. It needs to be a high contrast to whatever colors that you have on your page, okay? So when I do mine, I usually, since my colors are are blue and some red, I always use yellow in there as my button color because it's contrasting, because I usually use blue as my main branding color. So, and then red is just sort of an accent color. So that's where the yellow comes in, because it's a very high visible color and you want to use something like that. So take a look at your landing page and look at the colors, and then look at what color you're using and what words you're using on your button, okay? Some tricks you can do depending on what you're using for your landing page. You can make it shake, you can make it pop up a little bit, things like that, but you want to make it easier. Now I'm going to give you another tip. So what you want to do when you give them the form is not make it complicated. Don't ask for too much information. First name, email. That's it. Do not ask for anything else if you're having them opt in. Now, it's different if you are going to be using, doing a checkout, then you definitely have to do that. But you want to do a two-step checkout where you get their email and name first. So if they abandon the cart and don't go to the next one, then you have captured their name and email information right at the beginning there, all right? So that's a little tip there to, if you're doing a sales page and you have a checkout, you always want to make it 2 steps and have that abandoned cart follow-up. So let's talk about another question that people ask or wonder about is, what role do visuals have on your landing page? So things such as images and testimonials with images, huge. Okay, so you want images of you want images of your product, your opt-in, something that, helps them with it. And faces are huge. People like to relate to faces, happy faces, okay? So include things like that, especially when you're doing testimonials. If you have testimonials, you always want to, if possible, use the image of the person for the testimonial. Even better if you can get a video testimonial. So that's really important. So I always include visuals all the way down because it breaks things up also and makes your page look a lot more interesting. Not a little, but a lot more. So make sure though that they're relevant to whatever you're offering on your page and they support whatever your value proposition is, and make sure that they do not distract from everything else that you're trying to do on your page. So another question, and this is huge. How do I build trust on my landing page? So it's very important for conversions, especially if someone's coming in cold traffic. And that would be if you have an ad and you are driving cold traffic to your landing page, okay? So that's where you want to include customer testimonials, reviews, badges, privacy, guarantees. Guarantees are huge when it comes to selling something. You want to have that on there. You have to, don't be afraid to have a guarantee on there. I do it all the time, and it helps to convert people. And I do not, very rarely do I get somebody who wants their money back. Okay, so definitely do that. And you just want to have those testimonials. Those are key to have on any kind of landing page. So here is another question is, should I use long or short landing pages? So it really depends on the complexity of your offer. So if you have an opt-in for a freebie, short. You really just need header, little body copy, bullet points, image, some testimonials, call to action. And if you're driving cold traffic to it, you definitely need something about you on it. Now, if you're doing a course beta test, you want it to be a little bit longer than that because you want to include what you're covering in your beta test, right? So that's going to be a little bit more. So at least people understand what it is teaching and what you're teaching, and make sure that each module is you have a benefit driven, not like what you're teaching. You want to just use AI to take that and turn it into a benefit driven bullet point or description for each of your beta test modules or your course modules. Same thing, if you're talking about your course, it is not about what is in your course. You want to make those all benefit driven. Now, if you're selling a course, you need a longer landing page. A lot of times I'm not going to go through all 16 pieces, but you definitely need longer landing page. So again, it really depends on what you're doing. So if you've got a smaller offer that's under $100, you don't need a super long landing page. But if you're charging more, you need to have a longer landing page and make sure that, or a sales page that gives them all the details that they need to have. If it's an opt-in, it can be shorter. If it's a beta test, a course beta test, it needs to be a little bit longer. So the next thing is, how do I optimize my landing page for mobile users? Well, of course, you have to test it, but if you're using a good landing page builder, it should be built into it, but you definitely want to test it out. And you've got to use concise copy, minimize large images, and make sure that your call to actions are prominently placed. So I've been building websites this year, and a lot of them. And one of the things that comes up is when we go to look at in the mobile view, even though it is mobile responsive, how we lay out the page sometimes doesn't always look good in mobile. So you definitely want to do that before you go and deploy any kind of landing page or sales page or whatever, to make sure it looks really good. If not, then you kind of need to rearrange things on the page so that it looks good on the mobile version. So definitely don't skip that that part of it, okay? So how do I track the effectiveness of my landing pages? This is key to getting more conversions. So what you want to do is you either want to use a Hotjar, which is a heat map, and you can get that for free, or if you're using a landing page provider such as Kartra, Lead Pages, Kajabi, most of them have heat maps in there. So what is a heat map? A heat map shows you where people are falling off on your page. And generally, that's going to give you clues as to what you need to optimize on your page. So what you want to do is go through that, see where people are dropping off, and then start making fixes, little fixes. Don't overhaul the whole thing or you're not going to know what's going on. But you want to fix little pieces at a time, test it out, see if it improves, and then just keep iterating and making changes and tweaking it as you get more feedback from people coming to your pages, right? So you definitely want to monitor your metrics all the time. So I'm going to leave you with this. Remember that the effectiveness of your landing page all depends on these things that I've just shared with you right